Hello, everybody. Hi, Alex. How are ya? Oh. Okay. It's just taking a while to catch up. That's fine. I don't like my stream setup to be that juddery. What's going on here? Okay. Well, hopefully it settles down a little bit because things took a turn last night when we were playing. The Archdeacon got here really quickly and like a full day. Thank you. Yeah, I woke up, I can't get this game out of my head, so I was like, okay, I want to beat this, I want to finish this. I don't know if I will this stream, but I'm going to do my best. And I got some, like, somewhat disappointing news this morning, which is that my application for Six String Games to go to Emerald City Comic Con was waitlisted due to high demand, which I've seen it happen both ways, where like we've been waitlisted and then we've gotten in, and then we've been waitlisted and we just never hear back. So that's kind of a tough feeling, but I'm gonna just hope for the best for this, you know, obviously. And I knew it was a long shot, and I'm still glad that I shot that shot. Hey Bowman, how's it going, friend? So yeah, I can't lie, it's a little bit disappointing because I really hoped we'd be in straight out the gate, but you know, anything can happen. And I'm still gonna apply for the industry professionals badge because I will still be an industry professional, even if I'm not. Why is my chat box not showing up? Something wrong with that. Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's so strange. Why is the chat box not showing up? I'm so confused. Yeah, it sucks that you got waitlisted. It does. It's a little disappointing, I'm not gonna lie. But, you know, just gotta try and make the best of it. And figure out why my chat box isn't showing up. Oh my goodness. Hold on one second. Let me see if I just... Okay, now it shows up. For some reason, I'm not sure why. Ready for the weekend and bracing for cold weather on Sunday. I hear ya on that. It's gonna get nuts. So yeah, I just figured good time to go deal with some manuscripts and solve some murders. Solvable problems. I need to go to the chapter house to meet with the Archdeacon. That's right. Yesterday we did get an achievement for petting, I want to say it was like five pets. I wonder if there's any way I can actually just like get into the cellar. Oh geez, everybody's here. Ulrich, God bless you, Andreas. Guy, good day, Andreas. Edoc, God bless you, Andreas. Margareta. Gertrude. I gotta say hi to everyone just on the off chance, you know. On the off chance that they let the old man... Ah, crap. Okay. God bless you, Andreas. No, he's not gonna let me in. Damn it. I guess there's nothing for it. Yeah, the off chance they give you the entire solution, right? I mean, I guess it's time, huh? Andreas. Father Journeau. Master Mahler, if you think I am unaware of your actions around this abbey in the past few days, you are mistaken. I mean, it'd be pretty hard to not be aware. I did dig up a grave without permission. Oh? You exhumed the corpse of one of the brothers of this abbey. I'm gonna say nothing. You enlisted a simple-minded novice to assist you. Have you no shame? A little. Well, even if I cannot make you pay for your obscenity, Volkbert will suffer for his role in it. Oh no, are you serious? He has the mind of a child. Yes, presumably why you preyed on him. Ooh. Now then, for all your meddling, you will not be welcome in Kirsau after your commission is completed. Yeah, it's very much religiously illegal, and the bad part about this is that I lied and said that I had the abbot's permission to do it, and I didn't, and I got someone else to help me, and now that person's going to get in trouble. I apologize. I was only trying to help Brother Piero. It's too late for apologies. Are you kidding me? You wouldn't even let me apologize at the beginning. Where do you come off saying something like that? Your days of interfering in the daily life of this abbey will end. Are you done? I'll leave you to the Archdeacon now. Try not to perjure yourself. God save you, Andreas Mahler. I hate that guy. Is this him? Oh boy, here we go. Please state your name for our records. Andreas Mahler, journeyman artist from Nuremberg. What is an artist doing in Kirsau Abbey? The abbey still has some commissions from wealthy patrons, and I need the money before I return to Nuremberg. Arnold, please write that down. I think we're ready to begin. Of course, Your Reverence. Now then, Master Mahler, what was your relation to Lorenz, the Baron Rothvogel? I only knew him for a day, but we were on friendly terms. Do you feel you had a sense of him as a person? No, Your Reverence. That is unfortunate, but I'd like you to try to characterize the man for me. Confident, overbearing, used to getting what he wants. Do you think someone would kill him for that? That seems unlikely. Someone had to have a reason, if not that, something else. Otherwise, it makes my presence here somewhat difficult to explain. Sure, but they didn't kill him because he was confident and overbearing. They killed him because of his actions, probably. The Baron Rothvogel was murdered here in this very room. Someone did it. Father Journeau believes it was one of his monks, Brother Piero. I have met with Brother Piero and questioned him at length. While it seems unlikely that a man of his age and temperament could murder the Baron, he was discovered in flagrante delicto. Technically, he discovered the corpus delicti, but was not caught in flagrante delicto. Yeah, body of the crime. We're gonna use our classical education for this one. Master Mahler, I am not interested in your clarifications, technical or otherwise, on matters of Latin or law. Well, you should be, because you're here fucking questioning me. If you wish to advocate on behalf of Brother Piero, I suggest shutting your mouth until I ask you a question. Piero had reasons to resent the Baron. The loss of his work, the insistence on discussing the writings of the troublemaker from Wittenberg. I almost wore my Wittenberg hat today. I should have. And as for his age and infirmity, I myself have read of many cases in which a man of modest strength succumbs to the temptations of the devil. Once seized by a devilish fever, the poor sinner gains an infernal power that allows him to inflict grievous wounds, sometimes fatal. Sounds fake to me, your worship. What I am saying is that in spite of the curious circumstances, Brother Piero is the most plausible perpetrator of this most vile act. Literally, he is not. I understand that you are on friendly terms with Brother Piero. You also interacted with the Baron, both in the town and the Abbey. Did you witness anything that suggests someone else could have murdered Baron Rothvogel? Well... Ugh. Oh, fuck. I have to take... I think it was Ferenc. I really do. So I'm gonna bring that up. The Abbey's prior Ferenc was behaving suspiciously the day of the Baron's arrival. He may have had a motive. That is an extraordinary claim, Andreas. The abbot speaks highly of the prior, and he oversees both your and Brother Piero's work, does he not? Yes, your reverence. An extraordinary claim requires extraordinary evidence for me to take it seriously. Why should I take the word of an artist over a respected officer of this abbey? I can provide evidence of Prior Ferenc's motive. Please do so. Baron Rothvogel and Prior Ferenc were exchanging letters about performing a magical ritual during the Baron's visit. You have proof of this? I have a letter the Prior wrote to the Baron. In it, the Prior mentions that he will not perform a ritual for the Baron, even if the Baron does follow through on a threat to implicate him to inquisitors in Innsbruck. An implication of necromancy is a serious matter. The Prior's position would have been in peril, possibly even his life. And how do you believe Prior Ferenc would have killed the Baron? I pray you will not say it was a magical ritual. Oh, if only. I found a silver rod that belongs to Prior Ferenc. It has dried blood on it. A silver rod? Likely a magical tool of some sort, but it is of a size and weight appropriate for the head wound that the Baron received. How did you come to possess this item? In truth, it involved a little grave digging. Master Mahler, while it is not my place nor my task to hold you liable for what you've done, I will be informing Father Journeau. Yeah, I'm not scared of him. Besides, he's kicking me out anyway. It doesn't matter. Is there anything else to say about the Prior? No, your reverence. Very well. Who else may have wanted to see the Baron dead? Fuck. I don't think anyone else... got plausible enough motive and ability. I never figured out what was happening with Lucky. Sister Matilda, I don't think it was her, and I promised I wouldn't say anything about it. Ottilia Kemperin was too old and frail to do it. Martin just fucking ran away. I can think of no one else who would have caused harm to the Baron, your reverence. Very well. Are you aware of anything else that might shed some light on this case? I am aware of a lot of things. Has Brother Florian told you about the note he found in the Baron's clothing? Yes, Brother Florian explained how he came to find it and told me its contents. Master Edeljäger has entered his testimony in our register. I don't understand the implications. Who is the innocent? It's not clear to me either, your reverence. Do you believe the murderer wrote it? Whoever wrote it was a talented scribe. I understand Kirsau has two, the elderly brother Edok and the younger brother Guy. To be frank, your reverence, neither man has the skill to write in this way. There's something else about it, too. The style is just different. It's unlike Edok and Guy's writing, unlike mine. Yes, well, whatever the particulars, it seems it will remain a mystery that stands apart from the commission of the murder. Unfortunately, there is more to tell. I found more notes. Notes written in the same hand on the same type of parchment to those who had a motive to kill the Baron. That is deeply troubling, but again, beyond the bounds of my investigation. Wouldn't this be considered expressly relevant to your investigation? In any case, I thank you for bringing it to my attention. All right. Of course, Your Reverence. Until next time. Hopefully there won't be a next time, no offense. Jesus. Final day of law and judgment? Oh, God. Andreas, I didn't think you were coming to this. Oh, no. I didn't think I was either. I suppose I wanted to see how this ends after all. It was the prior of the Abbey, if you can believe it. Oh, fuck. Did you ever talk with him in the Abbey, Andreas? You missed the ritual, Andreas. That archdeacon read all of the charges and found him guilty. Oh no, I just unlocked an achievement. Hold on. Oops, hold on. I got a hot goss, tell Jacob Essler immaterial gossip, and the prior, yeah, get Prior Ferenc executed. Oh my god. This is gonna suck. I don't think Ferenc did it. The Archdeacon got it wrong. He's guilty of something. Oh, here comes the procession. Fuck. Did I miss anything? No, you're fine. Andreas. Otto. But we'll never find out who really did it. I don't know if it was him. Agnus Dei qui tollis peccata mundi miserere nobis. I didn't do this. God knows it, even if you did not. Oh, man. This can't be happening. This can't be happening. Oh! Oh my god. Jesus. Running like a chicken, crying like a woman. Pathetic. Silence! Silence! I order the executioner to carry out his duty. I warrant him peace and safe conduct, whatever may befall him. Jesus. I can watch or I can look away. I mean, I'm not looking away. This is my fault. My God, my God. Hold still. No, no. No. Oh my God. My Lord Judge, have I executed well? You have executed as judgment and law have required. For that, I thank God and my master who has taught me such art. My God. I know this was your doing, Andreas. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself. No, I'm taking it up with the Archdeacon. It has nothing to do with me. The Archdeacon wouldn't have reached his verdict without your testimony. I read it. I didn't say anything that wasn't true. You are no longer welcome at Kirsau, Andreas Mahler. I will send your final payment to the Gertners. May you have a long and successful career in Nuremberg, and may you never travel this way again. I can't say I'm going to miss this place. Also, hi, Prax. Separation. Ooh, I got another achievement. What is it? Andreas non grata. End Act 1 out of the abbot's favor. Oh, dear. Well, Piero's still alive, at least. I know, I love the edits as they go on, too. It's such a nice touch. Andreas, has the time come for you to leave us? I'm afraid so, Brother Piero. This farewell will have to be brief. Father Journeau made it clear I was no longer welcome at Kirsau. I pray that time will soften Father Abbott's heart. I hope he eventually realizes you were only trying to help me. This is a sad parting, but inevitable. I had hoped you would stay a bit longer. But the world needs you more than Kirsau does. You have grown beyond this old abbey and become a master in your own right. I will miss you, my son. Aww. As I will you. Come, your masterpiece is complete. May I see it one last time before you go? Please, I value your assessment. The opinion of one old monk matters little. All the same, I am excited to see it finished at last. It is a masterpiece, truly worthy of the word. It's beautiful. Oh, he actually put all of the people from our village in there. There's Big Jorg. Aww. That's beautiful. And it appears you took my advice to heart. What advice was that? Oh, yeah, I'm even in there. I'm in the bottom right. Oh my gosh. To put yourself into the work. Not just to interpret another artist's work, but to transform it into something true. This shows the world as it is, as you have seen it, even if it is not what we may want to see. Though it is not my place to say so, I am proud of you, Andreas. Oh. What's this? A scrap of parchment? Do not return here. A warning? Whose hand is this? It doesn't look like Brother Edoc's or Brother Guy's. Yeah, that's the mysterious note writer for sure. Brother Florian and I found a similar note in the Baron's clothing. I mean, like, if I tell this guy anything, I don't want him to get in trouble, but, like, it's not gonna get worse. Oh. Well, hold on. And I found more notes delivered to others while I was investigating. They must have been written by someone who knew the darkest secrets of the town and this abbey. I mean, it had to have been whoever stole the book, right? The whole point is that this happened because the Baron's book that he was going to give the abbey was stolen. They tugged at those secrets to kill the Baron, like someone pulling at threads that had been buried in the past. A frightening thought, but who would do such a thing? I wish I knew, seriously. Do not trouble yourself overly about it. Your future lies outside of these walls. I hope that you will have time to visit me once or twice in your travels before the Lord takes me. Oh, buddy, you're so old, though, like... And I can't come back here. You're probably gonna die. I'll come as often as I can. Assuming Father Journeau doesn't forbid it. We must have faith that better days lie ahead for all of us. God bless you, Andreas Mahler. Thank you for your friendship. Until next time. Oop, I unlocked an achievement. The Baron. Are you alright, Master Andreas? Oh my gosh! Oh, did I come back years later? Now I'm old. Finished Act 1. 45.2% of players have this achievement. Come on! How do you not finish this game? What? Oh, I'm like old and fancy, but I still kept the pin from the Baron. Are you alright, Master Andreas? Yeah, he died, didn't he? Yes, thank you. I was just remembering him. Trying to, anyway. It doesn't come easily anymore. Oh, would you like me to leave you alone? No, Caspar. It's not necessary. There's nothing to be done about it now. It's too late. Like so many things. Andreas Mahler, I never expected to see your face here again. Have you been in Nuremberg for these last 7 years? 7 years! Wow. So I guess I never did make it back to say goodbye. No, Nuremberg for a few years, but I received some lucrative commissions abroad. Ooh. Oh, cool. Background. Poland. England. France. Aragon. I want to go France. I want to see what I get from that. I spent a few years in France and Burgundy, painting portraits and religious paintings for nobles and courtiers. Did you visit Provence? Only briefly, for a commission. Why? When King Louis expelled the Jews from the region some years ago, a number chose to convert and remain. So the king taxed them into misery. I wondered if the tax yet persisted. I have no idea. I'm surprised you care at all. So does this mean that Guy was from there and he was one of those forced conversions? I would not be surprised at all. This is like way more common than I think a lot of people realize. Also, I was wondering when or if this game was going to address like Jews in the medieval Renaissance period, if at all. And I'm glad that they did. Because we were there. Well, I'm not about to leap into a fire to save anyone, but I don't think it's right what happened to them. In spite of your extensive travels and success, you're still not welcome at Kirsau. Who cares? The abbot hasn't forgotten what happened. 7 years isn't all that long. I simply wanted to pay my respects to an old friend. Surely you understand that. I understand why Father Abbot expelled you from the abbey. What were you expecting, a hero's welcome? Landhouse? Yeah, fine. Tell Father Journeau I'll be staying at the Landhouse in town for a night or two before moving on. The Golden Hand? I'll tell him, but I can't imagine he'll care. Why is he so rude? God bless you. Now be off. Revolution. Oh my. Oh my gosh. That monk seemed unhappy to see you, Master Andreas. Why is the abbot so angry with you? Well, you see, toward the end of my stay in Tassing, there was a murder at Kirsau Abbey, a nobleman. Father Journeau panicked and accused my friend, Brother Piero, of committing the crime. I helped convince the investigating archdeacon that another monk was responsible, Prior Ferenc. He was executed for the crime. You got someone killed? It was that or let an innocent man die. That's not much of a choice. Still, I would have been scared. Why didn't you mention it before? Well, I suppose it must have been a hard situation about if the abbot is still this mad at you. I had to make some difficult choices. Maybe they were the wrong ones. I've had to live with that. Why did we come here if you're not welcome? I wanted to pay my respects to Brother Piero. Also, the mystery is still unsolved. Let's not forget. And to be honest, I'm not looking forward to returning to Nuremberg. This commission, it's an obscene vanity piece under the pretext of a religious scene. My patrons just want to celebrate themselves and their wealth. I dread each new commission more than the last. Every step I take toward home is agonizing. But, Master, you're famous and rich. Your work is wonderful. When I saw your altarpiece in Nuremberg, I begged my father to help me become your apprentice. I don't understand how you could accomplish all that you have and be unhappy. Oh my gosh, kid. Kid. I needed coffee for that. All that I have accomplished is my work. Yes, now I am left hollow with nothing else left. Once I wanted this life so much that it consumed my every waking thought. I don't know if I've changed or if what I wanted was never really real. Maybe I've been a fool this whole time. I want life as an artist to be better for you, Casper. Learn from my mistakes, all right? Yeah, learn from my mistakes and don't get roped into solving a murder when you're literally just there to paint a picture. Oh, all right. Yes, Master Andreas. I shouldn't be burdening you with such dark thoughts, Casper. Come, let's visit my old friend Klaus. It's been too long. He's the printer guy, right? Yeah, oh, he's old now. As you like, Master Andreas. Paying respects. We're not going to bed. This room is sparse compared to what I'm used to. The Golden Hand Inn. I don't remember this being here before. I wonder... Hannah. Hello, Andreas. How are you enjoying your stay? It's been wonderful, Hannah. Thank you. Oh, good. You're in the best room we have. I'm glad it's to your liking. Was there anything else? No, thank you. Until later. Until then. Well, now we have some new environments to check out. Oop, wait a minute. Come on. There we go. Oh, okay. Killian. Good day, Master Mahler. Who's this? Nico. Ah, Master Mahler, is it? Hello, and welcome to the Golden Hand. I am Nico Berger. I own this landhouse and run it with my wife, Hannah, and our son, Killian. I believe my boy helped you to your room. Is it to your liking? It's lovely, thank you. I am glad to hear it, glad to hear it. When you arrived in town, one of the locals said you lived here a few years back. Well, yes, I worked for the Abbey as an artist. Ah, I see. I heard that you were involved in solving a murder. Are you trying to ask me to solve a murder? No, never mind. Well, I'll leave you to your day. Until later. Until then, please don't ask me to solve any more murders. Oh, who's this? Samuel. Hello, Andreas. What are you, like a Landsknecht? Just like polishing his sword ominously. Also, just saying, like, young Andreas was pretty hot. Older Andreas? Brother Waslav uses thyme in almost all of the Abbey's cooking, maybe because it grows so easily here. Oh god, all these people are gonna remember me. Just do it. You know it's the right thing. I don't understand why this is so hard for you. Otto, I'm scared. It's dangerous to cross the Abbot. Would you prefer the alternative? You don't need to do that, Otto. I understand. I'm just saying... Andreas? Andreas Mahler? It's good to see you again, old friend. Otto, you're looking well. This is my apprentice, Kaspar Ziegler from Salzburg. He's Austrian. Rumors of violence and rebellion in the city are becoming more common. Casper's hometown. Good day. Ah, that answers that. I thought he might be your son. Oh. We don't grow them that fast, even in Nuremberg. No, not yet. Or I've only been married 7 years, Otto. No, not yet. Ava and I just had our first. Little Otto, though we call him Utz. Oh, he's a little baby. The babies in this are drawn in such an adorable way. Congratulations to you both. That's wonderful news. Thank you. It's been a trial with Dad gone, but Clara and Ursula help out where they can. Oh, Ursula's growing up. Oh, man. I'm sorry to hear about your father. That's life. At least he's with the Lord now, free of his aches and pains. I know Ava wrote to you about my father's death, Andreas. Why didn't you write back? Ooh. I'm gonna sigh and look at the ground. Sorry to interrupt, but I should be heading back. Is this Martin? Did Martin grow up? I feel like I should remember your face, but I can't place it. It's Martin. Oh, don't trouble yourself. It's me, Martin, remember? You've grown. It's been known to happen with children. Huh. As much as I love whiling away the hours in the meadow, I have a lot to attend to. Otto, I'll see you at the meeting later. Andreas, until later. Until then, it's not good to see you, Martin. You were a little shit back in the day. Pain in my ass. What's this about a meeting? You've picked an interesting time to visit. Come by the town commons in a while. I think you'll be interested to hear what I have to say. Oh boy. We got some more changes. I'll consider it, thanks. I hope to see you then. Until later. Well, well, well. Ah, the many-petaled tranquifoil. It grows so easily, some consider it a weed. Pet schlau. Aww. We need to pet every animal in this game. I wonder if anything changed out here. Nope, just the same old kids' drawings as before. Oh. Andreas, I had heard you were back in Tossing. God bless you. God bless you, Father Thomas. It is good to see you again. Hopefully this visit will be less eventful than your last. God, I hope so. Tossing has enough going on as it is. We have our bonfire for St. John's Eve tomorrow night. People get up to all sorts of mischief. And then it's my job to hear their confessions in the days that follow. Not to mention the grumbling the peasants are making. That's just talk, brother. No need to scare our guest with such things. Listen, I saw a man murdered. I'm not scared of a few grumbling peasants. I'm sure if there's trouble, Master Mahler will be the first to stick his nose in it. Why are you always such an asshole? You have no appreciation for how privileged your life is. It's easy enough for you to come and go. You don't have to live with the consequences. After Ferenc was executed, Father Abbot made Matthew the new prior. Ferenc may have been annoying, but Matthew is even worse. Thanks for that. It would have been better for everyone if you had simply allowed Brother Piero to die. Wow. Get fucked. That is no way to treat people. After all, he only had a few years left anyway. You are a buffoon and a coward who hides behind his habit. Friends, there's no need for such ire. Narrator voice, it was in fact not less eventful. Seriously, this is gonna take a turn, I know it. Forgive me, Father Thomas. I let my passions get the better of me. Besides, that's not even why I came down here. I actually came to speak to you on the abbot's behalf, Andreas. Father Journeau would like to invite you to come to the library tomorrow morning if you're interested in purchasing some of our books. Ooh, I mean, that'll be fun. Doc! Hey, it's Act 2! Yes! Oh my god, hi! Andreas got Prior Ferenc executed and then got even hotter 7 years later. I'm loving this so far. I should have worn my Wittenberg hat to do this stream. I'm gonna go change when I take my break and like put on the Wittenberg beanie. Oh shit, Andreas, yeah. I'm still fighting with Brother Guy because he's still a pompous ass. The Abbot just had me run off and now he wants me back? Yeah, seriously. Questions. I can't know the mind of the Father Abbot. I just do what he asks. The library is not quite ready yet, as it does not see much use. Yes, represent the Reformation energy. If you could come by tomorrow morning, Mother Illuminata can show you what's available. Oh, shit! So I guess Mother Cecilia died and she became the new abbess. That doesn't surprise me. I wonder, because Sisters Denna and I had sex in the library in Act 1. There was a lot of sex happening in the library in Act 1. That was just kind of a thing that occurred. But yeah, I wonder how Sisters Denna is doing. I'm gonna have to check up on her. Mother Illuminata? Yes, since Mother Cecilia passed a few years ago. God, all my friends are dead. How did she die? Peacefully in her sleep. I didn't have sex with anyone in any act. You must be better at this game than me. Listen, a lot of shenanigans were happening in the library in Act 1. I was looking for clues and then I was looking for other things. Looking for love. So tomorrow morning, I'm glad Andreas asks, like, how did she die? Because there's a non-zero possibility. I mean, I suppose there always is, but it's a higher chance of her just being murdered. Everyone in this town dies from being murdered. All right, tell him to expect me. I'm sure he'll be overjoyed. And Andreas, I apologize for my harsh words before. It was rash. Brother Piero was a pious man and a skilled artist. We miss him. You're just apologizing me so that you can feel better about yourself when you try to kill me, because you're the real murderer. I appreciate you saying that. I miss him too. I'll be gracious. Excellent. I'm so glad you two were able to work things out. Oh, don't bet on it. I don't think we've worked anything out. This was a very superficial apology at best. Also, are we ever going to find out if the anchorite living in, like, the locked room in this church is still alive? Because I have questions. She seemed to kind of know what was going on, but then again, she might have been having a hallucination, so I'm not sure. Oh, Father Thomas, do you have a moment to speak inside the church? Yeah, Guy, I don't know, like, he does seem like a bit of a red herring. I don't think he's killing anybody. We'll see. Yes, I think so. Why? Anchorite spoilers are the worst kind. Yeah, no spoilers, because I'm loving this, and I'm loving that I went into this without knowing anything about it. Although I did kind of get spoiled by some fan art. I knew Andreas was going to get older, but also, like, that's the cover of the soundtrack of the game is older Andreas, so I kind of figured, okay, now we're probably going to have a linked story as he gets older. Really good to experience in the moment, for sure. It's a lot like Disco Elysium in that way, actually. Like, the less you know about that game going into it, I think the better experience you're going to have. A private matter. Oh, of course, of course. Until tomorrow, God bless you, Andreas. Uh-huh. A private matter, you say. Paying respects, the abbot's invitation. All right, well, I wonder if the widow Kemperin is still alive. Oh, did they... Well, no, there's livestock here. Man, so she really did just get kicked out of the house and, like, died. Where is she now, then? That sucks. Who's this? Anton. Hello, Master Mahler. Zimmerman House. What am I looking for? Church and Druckers. No. I think he was in the central town. Alban Bakery, North Town, Steinauer House, Church. Where the heck is he? Maybe he's at the Gertners? I don't know. The Rathaus construction is going smoothly. I wonder if they'll finish it before winter. A community hall where people meet, typically a council that governs day-to-day affairs under the authority of a lord. I guess maybe we're just gonna go to the Gertners. I wonder what the deal is with, like, all of the plants. Is that gonna mean something eventually? Or is it just gonna be nice to know that we learned a lot about plants? Alright, let's see if we can figure out where we're going. The Gertners. The Bauer farm. Well, okay. Let's see. Objective. I ran into Brother Guy, Otto Zimmerman. Otto told me to come to the Commons later. I'll head there after I talk to Klaus. Okay. So I just missed it, apparently. Why am I allowed in the Druckers if they're... Where are they? Oh, here we go. I still love so much how the printer's dialogue lines are animated. Andreas. I'm sorry, Klaus. I know it's been a long time. 7 years. 7 years and nothing from my friend Andreas. First Bert, then Marie just after Magdalena was born. My wife always thought highly of you. I can't believe you didn't write back after I told you they had passed. Oh my God, Bert died? Oh no, that little kid? Wow, Andreas, you suck. Why didn't you write back? I thought... I should have written. No, seriously, I should have. Yes, you should have. Too late for that now, though. Who's this? Aw. Magdalena. Boop-be-boo-boo. Oh, hello. She likes you. Aw, she's so cute. Your business seems to have grown. What are you printing? The 12 articles. They were originally written by Schwabian peasants who were demanding changes from their lords. Ooh, freedom from serfdom, freedom to hunt and use the woods as God intended, freedom from compulsory labor. Abolition of the inheritance tax, fair appraisal of rent, the return of property to common use and ownership. Bavaria isn't Swabia, but their complaints are just as valid for the peasants of Tassing. a former duchy in the Southern Holy Roman Empire. It was reformed as the Swabian Circle in 1512. It borders Bavaria to the west, the Swiss Confederacy to the south, and Austria to the southeast. Ah, so this is Otto's cause. He's caught your ear already, The abbot has been squeezing the peasants for years. Now he's squeezing the townsfolk, and we're pushing back. Their cause is righteous, Andreas. If you haven't seen the Gertners lately, you should visit them. And Otto had you print these? Yes, why? Well, I didn't think he could read. He can't, but just about everyone else in town can. He speaks, I print, just trying to do my part, I suppose. I'm sorry, I'm still not in the mood for this late reunion. Come back for dinner tomorrow. You should go to the Commons, hear what Otto has to say. It's worth hearing. Of course, I will see you then. Be good while we're gone, Magdalena. Will you be good? Gab, gab, gaboo! She's still so little. Oh my gosh. Paying respects. A cold reunion. Oof. Alright, so... Klaus wasn't happy to see me. I probably should have written back to him when he contacted me. Oops. Oh, I drew a sketch of Marie and Bert. Nothing to be done about it now. He's been printing leaflets for Otto to promote the peasants' demands. He said that I should head to the Commons to hear Otto give a speech to the town. Let's do it. So many people. Everyone, listen. We all know why we're here. Nothing I'm going to say will be a surprise. Nothing I'm going to say hasn't already been spoken behind closed doors, whispered to your neighbors. Nothing I'm going to say is untruthful, so it's time we started saying it openly. Year after year, the Abbey has found new ways to tax the peasants. Piece by piece, the Abbey has taken away our rights to use God's forest to support our families. I mean, this much is true. Law after law gets heaped upon us, restrictions on how we can pay rent, limits on where we can move, who we can wed. And now the death tax, which once claimed only our best animal and garment, takes half our estate. No consideration for widows, no consideration for children. What about the town council, the Rathaus? Surely that is a sign that the abbot wishes to share his power, to listen to our grievances. Yeah, but that's a stone building that's not going to be constructed for a while. We're going to have to get the Reformation hat after this conversation's over. You have a good heart, Ulrich. You always want to see the best in people. But no. The council is a way for the abbot to divide us, to pit a favored few against the many. Yeah. This is not charity. No. Only greed and desperation drive Father Journeau. Exactly. The building isn't the council that sits in it. You'd think that if the abbot could, he'd steal a dead man's soul from heaven itself. Well, I wish he would steal the Baron's soul from wherever it is so that we could figure out who really killed him. And when we protested, what did Father Journeau do? He locked the shrine of St. Moritz. He won't allow the people of this town, the farmers of this land, to pray before the relic. Wow, that's no good. Now, when we most need the intercession of our saint, the abbot has shut us out. Father Journeau's actions aren't just. They aren't Christian. We've endured this abuse for too long. I mean, I agree. It's time we let the abbot know we won't take it anymore. Too right. Hear, hear. Yes. This has to stop. Let's fix this. Stop. This is foolish. Soldiers are already patrolling nearby towns. If you push against the abbey, you'll incur the Duke's wrath. You could get the town razed and everyone killed. Hanna's right. The Duke is a powerful force in Bavaria. You're playing a dangerous game, Otto. You lot are no match for trained soldiers. If you don't relent, you'll be ground into dust, like the Schwabian peasants. We could always grind you up instead, Lenhart. They might be right if there are already soldiers about. I don't know. We must stand for what is right. God is on our side. Don't be shy. Speak up if you have cause. We won't be overrun. The peasants of Salzburg were able to take the city and have their cause heard. If the people can get the Archbishop of Salzburg to listen to them, then we can do the same with the abbot. Master Andreas, do you think my family in Salzburg is all right? God, I hope so. I don't know, Caspar, but we can find out. All right. Enough is enough. We can't stand by while the abbot continues treating us poorly. People all over Swabia are taking back their God-given rights. Why shouldn't we do the same? A righteous cause. Martin's right. We deserve better. We can do this. Well spoken, Martin. Everyone ought to consider what he said. Martin has proved dependable these last few years. Martin has clearly also apparently become less scummy, maybe? I don't know. I mean, he still did steal a bunch of stuff. But if the worst of men can't persuade you, perhaps a sign from a greater power will. The abbot may have locked us out of our saint's shrine, but God has shown me that he is with us. Uh-oh. Okay, well now we're getting to the point where people are claiming to speak for God, and that never really ends too well, so... What's the sign? I think that's all I should say for now. Thank you all for coming. Alright. It's Clara. Good day, Andreas. Clara, it's been too long. It's lovely to see you again. Hello, Andreas. I'm surprised to see you after your long absence from Tassing. At this rate, we thought we'd never see you again. I like to think I've gotten less scummy as I've gotten older. Yeah, we all level up. Hello, Ava. All these years and you're looking as lovely as ever. Andreas, please, that's enough. I'm married now. Of course, I apologize for being so forward. No harm done. Ah, you found the Gertners. Your speech was very rousing, Otto. I swear they get better each time. I hope the Duke doesn't catch words of this, Otto. The town could suffer for it. Yes, we are playing Horn Dog Andreas. That's potentially why there was so much sex happening in the library. Just saying. We're past the point of caring, Mahler. If you were in our position, you'd understand that. You're right, it's not my place to judge. I'm just concerned. It's appreciated, but we know the risks. Otto, did you really see a sign from God? Is that true? It is, Andreas, I swear. Come talk to me later. I'll tell you what I can, all right? Anyway, Andreas, you and yours should come by the house for supper. We'd be delighted to have you. That sounds wonderful. We'll be there, Clara. Perfect. Food time. Paying respects. Go to the Gertners for supper. What do we get in here? Run into Clara and Ava. Sign of God's grace. Ah, okay, so this is my... Mystical spirit. How did I get that? Absorbed some concepts of Christian mysticism via the... Oh, right, the heretical book I found. He's continued his studies with other translated texts as he has found them. I really like the meal scenes. I think they're great. I told Sean, I was like, this is, you know, I know you're going to play this anyway, but the really important thing you should know about this game is that, yes, you're solving a murder, But the other question and problem that you're solving is who to have lunch with. I really like them. It's a nice touch. All right, I'm gonna go get my Reformation hat, take a quick bio break. I will be right back, and then we're gonna go have some dinner with the Gertners. Sound good? Okay, I'll be right back. Hello. Hi, Ryan. Welcome. I got my Reformation hat on. It's my Wittenberg hat. 2 of my sisters went there for college. And I feel it's only proper that I wear this now while I'm playing a game about the Reformation. And I also got tea, so thank you for chilling in the chat. Hey again, Alex. It's really good to have you guys here for this. This is a lot of fun. I love playing these type of games too, so... Oh hey, Endris. I remember you. Andreas, you're back in Tossing? Just for a few days, I wanted to pay my respects to Brother Piero. Oh yes, Brother Piero, what a talent with color. I'm sorry, Andreas. He was a sweet old man. I talked to him sometimes on my breaks up at the Abbey. I'm surprised Prior Ferenc didn't give you an earful. Well, he did before the, unpleasantness. I'm sure you know it shook up things at the Abbey for a while. Yeah, Brother Guy made it clear I wasn't welcome at Kirsau when I arrived, so yes. For what it's worth, you're still welcome in Tassing. Anyway. Matthew's prior now, still strict, but a bit quieter about it. He has a reserved Swiss temperament. I'd take that over Ferenc's outbursts. You'll get no disagreement from me. Still, even if the prior is easier to get along with, the abbot's gone from bad to worse. Oh? Are you in with the peasants, Endris? Well, of course. Journeau has been running them into the ground. On top of that, we can't even use the forest anymore. What? That was already a point of contention last time. Any of us used to be able to go fishing in there. Not anymore. How far are you going to take this? Well, I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not leading the thing. But I trust in Otto, and the peasants do too. He's a good man. The whole town knows it. Even Lenhart, though he wouldn't admit it. Wait, who's that? I haven't met this guy yet, I don't think. Say, Andreas, how's the married life been treating you? Well, after you left here to return to Nuremberg, I assume you married that girl of yours, Sabine? Huh, I did. Marriage is a legal requirement for becoming a recognized master craftsman. Ah, yes, of course. These obligations seldom reach a small town like ours. I imagine it would apply to me as well if I got far enough. I hope the married life has treated you well. I still have not found anyone. Oh, buddy. I fear it's never going to happen. Really? Not a single person has caught your eye? Well, when I was in Innsbruck a few years ago, I saw a real pretty girl at the market selling painted pots. I think about her sometimes, maybe more than is Christian. Hold on, you need to go back to Innsbruck and find that pretty girl. What? Really? Life is too short to spend dreaming about the loves you could have had, trust me. You seem to feel strongly about this, Andreas. I do. But it sounds foolish. Juvenile, you might say. I may not have found true love, but that doesn't mean you can't. Are you not happy with your life, Andreas? I'm not, but this isn't about me. It's about you. Well, if ever I have the chance to get back to Innsbruck, maybe I will. Ooh, we got an achievement. What's the achievement? Matchmaker? Convince Endris to find his sweetheart. Aww. Only 32% of people did that. I do like seeing the achievement percentages. There's something to look forward to after all. I thank you, Andreas. You're a man of inspiration. A pleasure. Until later, Endris. Until then. Okay, well. Time for food. Look at Ursula. Hello. Hello, Ursula, do you remember me? No, should I? Aww. You used to poke me in the foot with a stick to wake me up. I did? You did. I stayed in the room upstairs. I kind of remember that. Cough, cough. Oh no. Mom and Dad sometimes talk about you. They said you went away for more training. What was that like? Well, while I was in Paris, I learned a new oil technique. No, not about the art, Andreas, about your travels. All right, all right. Paris is the liveliest city I've ever been to. The Notre-Dame de Paris Cathedral is always being renovated. And the university has some of the brightest minds I've ever met. Father says university is a waste of time and that people should learn a trade. I learned a lot in university, but never did finish my degree. You learned how to paint instead. I think that's more interesting. Andreas, can I ask you something? Of course. Do you know the stories about Perchta and the Wild Hunt? I mean, a little bit. Of course, I lived in Switzerland for a while. They believe in Perchta too. They call her Dame Hulde where I stayed, in Basel. Why? Are they bad? Bad how? Well, my grandpa tells me things about Perchta and spirits and charms. And the old woman, Ottilia, she talks about them too, and says all these words I don't understand. She told me they're part of the old ways or something. So why do you think they're bad? Well, my dad says that I shouldn't listen to any of it. He said it's nonsense and that Father Thomas would be mad. He said he only tolerates it with old people because they're too stuck in their ways. Wow, okay, Dad. Remember, it's better to go hunting for a spouse in Innsbruck than Innsmouth? Sure. I don't want to get in trouble, but Grandpa says if I don't learn the old ways, they'll just be forgotten. Why are you asking me? I'm curious. I'm afraid if I ask someone else, they'll tell my dad, or worse, Father Thomas. So are they bad? They're not bad, but those stories could get you in trouble, so maybe you shouldn't learn about the old ways. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to say. Really? Yes, some knowledge is dangerous for the soul, even if it doesn't seem like it. I don't want you to reject the old ways. All right. Thanks, Andreas. Until later. Wait a second. I didn't want to tell her to forget the old ways, but I got an achievement, so... Art of Persuasion, pass 5 dialogue checks. Well, I guess that's something. Hello, Andreas. Good to see you back in town. Hello, Veronica. How have you been? Oh, you know, pulled every which way. Mom's been a cow about when I'll give her grandchildren. As if I'm not doing enough work already. Oh, you're married now? Oh, yeah. I guess you wouldn't know. Big Jorg and I were married 2 springs back. Oh, congratulations to you both. Thanks. Now Mom's nagging me about when we'll have kids. Are you two having trouble? Not exactly. Jorg is fine. It's just... You're both young. Relax, you have time. Easy for you to say, Andreas. You have the easy part. Anyway, I should get back to work. We're all preparing for the festival. I'll leave you to it. Until later, Veronica. See you, Andreas. Ill Peter. Hello, Ill Peter. Eh? Oh, it's you. The artist from a few years ago. Yes, Andreas Mahler. I'm surprised you remember me. Humph, everyone seems to think my mind is going, but it's still sharp as a nail. Endris makes anvils, you know. Good men. Nails, you know. Just kidding. Right. Are you staying with my family again? No, I'm staying at the Golden Hand. Pah! Those misers charge just as much as the pilgrims for a drink, but won't support my son in his cause. That new abbot must have gotten to them, the bastard. Why do you hate the abbot so much? Everything went to shit after Father Matthias died. That man, God rest his soul, never increased taxes. He might have asked for a tithe in harder winters, but we were happy to help the abbey then. We could take from the forest as we needed. Brother Florian used to help us in our illnesses. Let us follow in the ways of our forefathers. A true Christian, that old abbot. And then Father Journeau promised he would keep everything between the abbey and us peasants the same. Well, clearly he didn't, because he sucks. I'm still sad. I should have let Ursula learn about the old ways. And we were foolish enough to believe him. At first, he refused to allow Florian to come down anymore. Taxes got higher. He stopped allowing us to pay in goods and livestock. Now he only takes coin, as though we can come by enough of that in a year to pay our rents alone. The bastard doesn't give a damn about us, not how Father Matthias did. Father Journeau has been an ass longer than I thought. Heh. You should talk to my son. You should help him stop that bastard abbot. I should go. All right. Hello again, Andreas. We're about to sit down to supper. Care to join? It would be my pleasure. What are we going to eat now? It's truly a blessing to have everyone back together again, if only briefly. Keep an eye on that boy of yours, Andreas. See that he minds how much he takes. Young boys eat too goddamned much. Peter, stop that. Andreas is our guest. Why don't you lead us in grace? Fine. Bless us, O Lord, and these your gifts, which we are about to receive from your bounty. We pray again for our beloved Christine, gone now these many years. Please help me protect my family in these difficult times. Through Christ our Lord, amen. And they all said, amen, except for ill Peter, who said, humph, amen. Master Andreas, why are we the only ones with bread? Oof, because they're really poor now. The Gertners can't afford a lot of bread. They're being polite. Andreas, it's so good to have you at our table again. And with another guest. Is this young man your assistant? Casper, yes. He is my apprentice. Ah, that would explain why I saw him writing in that little journal. I remember you did the same thing when you lived here. Select food item to eat, rye bread, cheese, or fresh pottage. Do you still draw in your journal, Andreas? Oh, sometimes, when the mood strikes. Wouldn't that be nice, York, if we only had to work when the whim took us? And we toil all day, and that despicable abbot is starving us all while he sips on his sacramental fucking wine. Lay off him, Dad. He's only just got here. How have the fates been treating you these last few years? Ugh. The Lord is testing us with another hard season, I'm afraid. I'm worried. Ursula and ill Peter keep coughing. That's one way to say it. Been miserable as shit all around. Maybe you should be resting, Grandpa. If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna do it sitting up at my own goddamn table. This dude, oh my goodness, he has not changed. The whole family's been ill, Andreas. Peter, his father, and Ursula with an ague. And me, well... Clara lost a child in childbed a year ago now. Was the child baptized before they passed? Or, I'm sorry for your loss, yeah. Thank you, Andreas. It was some time ago, but... Well, such things linger. It was monstrous. Monstrous! St. Augustine says that nothing done by the will of God could be contrary to nature, ill Peter. Pah! You seen him around here anywhere? I don't think so. Tassing is no place for saints. Not even the Lord seems to look our way any longer. That's why it's time for us to take matters into our own hands. We're eating, not at the table. Please, can we not talk about this now? Jorg here was married while you were away, Andreas. Yes, I've heard. You and Veronica make a good match, Jorg. Heh, thanks. Jorg has been good to me. There aren't many other options in Tassing anyway. It's been a couple springs, but I'm still not used to being married. It's really just more a marriage of this is who is available, it seems. Any children yet? There's been time enough for it. No, I'm just going to say congratulations. Thanks, Andreas. It's been our one blessing in a dark season. With children soon to come, I hope. Haha. What? I don't get it. Ursula. Oh, do you? Oh, forget it, Ursula. What have you been up to, Andreas? Oh, Nuremberg is miserable. I'm painting a commission, but patrons are paying to be added, so it's taking ages to finish. Oh, pa. I'm not interested in tales of your charmed city life. Ursula, maybe you should excuse yourself and rest. You're sick. But Mom, I'm still hungry. Here, Ursula, you can have mine. It's not fair that nobody else gets any bread besides Master Andreas and me. Stop. Ursula, give it back to him. Oh, come on. I'm not going to have people in this town saying we can't feed our goddamned guests. Besides, we all have work to get back to, don't we? Good. Time to get back to it, Andreas. We'll see you and your boy later. My apologies, Peter. We don't mean to overstay our welcome. It's all right, Andreas. He's just in a bad mood. It was lovely to see you again. Yes, thank you for coming, Andreas. Will you be staying for St. John's Eve? Yeah, I think so. Good. Hopefully we'll see you later. Until then. Yeah, now I'm damned by God. He's paying respects. Go to sleep. Gertners have fallen on hard times. Yeah, alright. Gotta go back to the main village area. Oh, is this where I was staying? Oh, whoop, okay. Amelie, the sin of Saul! The sin of Saul! So I guess she's still there. Master, did you hear that? It sounded like someone crying out. I think it's Sister Amelie. She's a mystic. She may be having one of her visions. Sister Amelie, are you all right? The Philistines, this is the hand of God. Compline, Compline! She did this before. That was when the person was murdered. Sister, is something happening at Compline? It's Compline right now. No! Sister? Sister Amelie. You're the artist, Andreas. You remember me? Yes, you were here when the Baron was killed. You've changed. In more ways than one. The complexities and difficulties of the outside world are why I am glad to be in here. I can see and hear the world spinning around me, but I am not a part of it. This cell gives me the peace and isolation I need to feel God's presence. And in the stillness of this storm of the world, a storm sometimes rouses in my soul. I wish Father Thomas were here. Would you like Casper to go get him? If he could, yes. His house is just around the corner. Casper, run and get Father Thomas. Yes, Master Andreas. Your son? No, I have no son. My wife and I... It's all right. You don't have to explain. I have little advice for mothers and fathers. My world is one of spirit, decoupled from the march of life and death. I see and hear your world turning from this little window, but they are mercifully small glimpses. Mercifully small? This cell allows me to contemplate mysteries without the noise of the outside world polluting my thoughts. Your world is the world of normal lives and normal thoughts. It can be difficult to hear the divine, much less make sense of it. I have no will to be part of that world. I strive to have no will at all, but to subordinate myself to the will of God. When my will is His will, He graces me with visions, confusing though they may be. To join your will, to be intimate with Jesus as though He were your wedded husband? That is a bold thing to say, Master Mahler. Where did you hear that? I read it in a book written by an English mystic. I had someone make a translation for me. I am glad you have an interest in spiritual matters. But these are not words to speak lightly, nor ideas to speak lightly of. The revelations we experience can be terrifying to us and to those who witness us experiencing them. They are not dreams, but waking visions of the greatest divine forces. Something's going on with you here. I'm sorry, I did not mean to offend you. I am not offended. But it is difficult for us to communicate these experiences through the written word. Sister, is that hole in the ground your grave? I was wondering about that. Yes, I dug it before Father Thomas read me my funeral rites, before I was enclosed here. I dig a little more in it each day. Most people find it shocking, but this is my devotion, my vocation. So I find it a little creepy, not gonna lie. Once someone finds their calling, they must answer it fully. Backing away slowly. What if the calling is wrong? I wish I could give a helpful answer, but I don't know. I felt this was my calling even before I could admit it to myself. Is your calling in question, Andreas? Is your life? Both, I think. I've lost my love. My love for art, love for family, love for anything. The last 7 years have been hard. It was all too much for me. Don't lose hope, Andreas. The human heart is no small thing. It can hold so much. Augustine? Andreas, thank you for sending Casper. She asked for you. Are you all right, Sister Amelie? Yes, Father, I may have had another vision. I remember little of it. Master Mahler and his apprentice heard nothing specific. That is unfortunate, but I am glad you are all right. Andreas, Casper, could you excuse us? We appreciate your help, but I must tend to her now in the church. Oh, really? Of course, Father. Good evening. God bless you both. Master Andreas, I'm confused. What did that all mean? I'm not sure, but the last time I heard Sister Amelie have a vision, it was just before the Baron was murdered. It's true. What? Do you think... Could Sister Amelie be receiving warnings? I am skeptical, I must say. How sad to think that she may not be seeing visions from God at all. That's for her and Father Thomas to figure out. It's none of our business. Come, Casper, let's retire for the evening. I just need to find where the like inn is where I stayed at. Where is the inn? Town Commons. Where's the Golden Hand? Ah. Past the church. That's why I couldn't find it. Something's going on here. Something we do not fully have every explanation for, and I have questions. Oh, we can finally get in here. The Lady of the Labyrinth. Time to head off to a meeting. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Bowman. You too. Thank you so much for coming by. I hope that your weekend is great. A painting of the Virgin Mary. What does the labyrinth symbolize? I wonder if it has anything to do with that labyrinth that was in the book that I found. Oh, it's the Magi, Adoration of the Magi. And then also the devil helping someone churn butter. You know, just the classic Bible story of the devil helping people churn butter. I don't think anybody's down here, but I guess we can see. Oh, that guy is gone. What was his name, like Samuel or something? Alrighty, bedtime. Go to sleep. Oh, we kept our little like night hats. Cute. Ooh. Prime time. We gotta meet Illuminata at the library. Okay. Did you drop this, Casper? No, I don't think so, Master. That script looks beautiful, Master Andreas. Did you write that? You were warned. Uh-oh. Warned? What does that mean? Warned about what? It has to do with the murder that happened the last time I was here. How? I thought they caught the murderer. Yes, but it's complicated. Let's just head up to the library, Casper. All right, Master. Oh, brother. I'm getting scared, y'all. I'm just gonna say good morning to these peasants that don't want to organize, and to their little child, Killian, and to the dad. Is that sword guy still here? Yeah, he is here. Samuel. Am I ever gonna learn what your deal is and why you're just polishing a sword in an inn? I'd like to know. Alright. Always gotta stop and pet the cat. Actually, I do want to stop and see if the guy who lived at the charcoal burners is there. Yeah, Smokey. I was like, what is his name? Stinky? I don't remember. Oh, hello, Master Malder. You're looking well. Thank you, Smokey. How are you? I'm well enough, I guess. Vaclav went his way a few years ago, which I suppose was bound to happen. Yeah, that was the Romani man that we met. I miss the company sometimes, but now there's no one to keep me from my gossip. No one to tell it to, either. Have I missed much? Heh, the things I could tell you since you left Tassing. We'd be here till Kingdom Come. Oh? I did see another Imperial Reichspost courier ride from the Abbey a few days ago. A private mail service run by the Turn und Taxis family and approved by the Holy Roman Empire. Brother Guy dropped the bag once. It looked heavy. The Abbey must be doing better than the Abbot is letting on. But what is going on with that? How? I'd heard the Abbey was struggling with its funds. Curious, isn't it? The couriers arrive once or twice a month. Doesn't help that the Abbot has tightened restrictions so close to St. John's Eve, too. The townsfolk get up to all sorts of mischief then. I remember those days. I'd wager Johann and Kat will find some corner to play in again. It's practically tradition at this point. Veronica and Brigitte might go out for a midnight dip by the waterfall, too. Yeah, lots of people not having kids because lots of people are queer. They've been swimming out there for years. Now everyone's getting clever, trying to stay out from the Abbot's eye. Rightly so, he's an ass. I didn't see you in the town commons during Otto's speech. Aren't you standing with the peasants? Well, their cause doesn't really affect me, does it? I'm as worried as anyone about soldiers rushing through here, but the new taxes and restrictions don't bother me. I understand why they're upset, but I've been doing fine out here with less than they have. Nothing will change for me if they get their way. That's true, but you could still support them. I don't want to get involved. I'm fine as I am. Supporting them would be the proper Christian thing to do, I guess. But when have any of them done the Christian thing for me? I mean, this is true. The entire town, reviles this guy just because he's, smelly and lives in the woods. The Christian way is to help without expecting anything in return. It's the giving that counts. Easy for men of means to be benevolent. All I want is fairness, decency. I've given them my work for years, but they refuse to treat me right. They mock me for my blind faith, since I have to keep a constant eye on the kiln for days on end and can't go to church as often. They laugh at the way I stink. I can't help that, you know. You know, you're right, you don't owe them shit. But it's true, one must be even stronger of heart to forgive them their follies. I'm not sure I have it in me. Ah, well, enough of that. Thanks for stopping by, Master Mahler. Until later, Smokey. Until then. Anything new up here? I suppose not. I don't remember. Did I go to the old salt mine last time? I did. Too innocent. What does that mean? Too innocent. Was that a grave marker? It's legitimately impossible to tell. Alright, I guess we're going up to the Abbey now, huh? Yeah, this is just the same dialogue as before, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. Let's see if there's anybody at the guest house. Nope. Let's see if the abbot is here. Aha, hello. God bless you, Andreas. Yep, alright. Oh, the pup. The abbot's dog. I love this dog. That is something I'm really excited about for this weekend, is that my husband and I adopted a new dog, and we finally get to bring her home this weekend. I cannot wait. I'm legit so excited. It's going to be awesome. Where is the librairie? Oh, right. This is the, like, labyrinth area I've got to get through. Yeah, okay. Brother Piero, 1450 to 1525. Rest in peace, my old friend. Mother Cecilia, 1463 to 1522. The headstone is well made. Her family must have commissioned it. So I guess this other guy that we exhumed without permission. Oh, hey, look who it is. Edoc. Hello? Who is this? It's Andreas, Brother Edoc. Andreas Mahler. Oh, Andreas, the fine young artist from Nuremberg. Not quite so young anymore, brother. No, you are still young. When you were last here, I thought I was old. I was wrong. Now I feel the true measure of years on these bones. Like the waves of the wide sea on the cliffs of Port Kragen, time has worn me down. But enough of that. How have you been, Andreas? God has blessed me with good fortune. Good, be sure to share it with others when you are able. You seem more at ease now than when I was last here. Do I? It may be so. I may have worked in the scriptorium beyond the limits of this body. It pained my joints and strained my brotherly love for Guy. The scriptorium took my sight and the use of my hands, but when it closed, it also took the pain from my heart. Oh, man. The abbot is content to let me serve the Lord through prayer and contemplation, and so it also contents me. I'm sorry, Andreas, but I must rest now. It is good to hear your voice at Kiersau again. God bless you. God bless you, Brother Edoc. Oh, hey! It's my boo, Sister Zdenna. Oh, Andreas, you're back. Well, she's a fully fledged sister now. She's not wearing her novice robes. Hello, Sister Zdenna. That's all you have to say? Hello? Oh, of course. God bless you, sister. Huh, still an ass, I see. Still, I hear you're a master artist now. I'm impressed. You know, I've grown as well, in a variety of ways. Shall we finish what we began, sister? Don't be ridiculous, Andreas. I'm not indulging you again. Was it that bad? No, it wasn't. Just let it pass, won't you? You didn't have to endure the tongue-wagging Mother Illuminata gave me. Did you get in much trouble? I had to do penance, obviously, and I had to help Sister Gertrude in the garden for a whole month. It wasn't horrible. I enjoyed working outside on the nice days. The garden is beautiful. I was young and lonely. You have no idea how boring a convent is for a young woman. It can't be that bad. You don't listen to Mother Illuminata anyway. I don't listen to her because I never wanted this. I'm not like you, Andreas. I never chose this life. My family couldn't marry me off to anyone of higher rank, so they donated to the abbey. Yep, this we know. The amount was substantial enough for the abbey to take me in as a nun. I was forced to take the habit. I loved my life before Kirsau. At least you chose your vocation. I was shoved into mine and forgotten. Is that why you refuse to follow the convent's rules? Yes. Mother Illuminata knows I never wanted this, and yet she always moralized me for all my transgressions. I learned to understand her devotion to her vows now, but can't bring myself to be quite so dedicated. I've accepted a lot in the past 7 years. I make the best of my life as well as I can. I should return to my duties. Thank you for speaking with me, Andreas Mahler. Until later, Sister Zdenna. Knock, knock. Let's go to the library. Oh, wow. So, we can just go in here. God bless you, Andreas. It has been too long. I know Father Abbot made it clear you were not to return when you left, but we had hoped to hear from you. Oh, man, she has Mother Cecilia's cross. Yes, my apologies. You're right, of course. It's good to see you again, Mother Illuminata. This is my apprentice, Caspar Ziegler from Salzburg. God bless you, Mother Superior. God bless you, young Caspar. No greeting for your favorite library helper? It's good to see you, sister. You as well. I'm sorry you have to see it in such a state. It sees very little use these days. What happened? After Baron Rothvogel's murder, we had fewer and fewer wealthy patrons. The small number that held out lost interest. It's easier to commission new work from the Guild of St. Luke or individual masters in big cities, like Nuremberg. Regulated trade and sale of art in cities around Europe. Artists who sought to have apprentices in businesses often had to become members for the privilege. I see. Father Journeau saw no reason to keep the scriptorium or library open. Most of the books here have been suffering of neglect. After Mother Cecilia's death, neither I nor Sister Zdenna had the time to maintain our inventory. Oh, that's terrible. Kirsau was one of the last monastic scriptoria in Bavaria. As Brother Piero was fond of saying, all things change in time. He truly was. Now all that remains are books for sale to interested parties, a task that Father Journeau has entrusted to me. And Sister Zdenna, of course. Well, I'm eager to look through your inventory. Master Andreas, maybe you could find a book for little Magdalena, something that's not in print yet. Excellent idea, Caspar. Let's see, let's do some reading. Parzival, Perhaps Klaus would not object to this romance given its emphasis on Christian virtues. I love this story. A 13th century retelling of the Arthurian hero Percival, written by Wolfram von Eschenbach. Themes of love and chivalry are prominent in this adventure tale. It's been a long time since I read that, but that was a grad school read. The German is a little dated, but I'm sure she'll figure it out with Klaus's help. Who knows, maybe it will inspire her imagination. Is that it? I guess. Take your time, make sure you've looked through the whole collection. Oh, I suppose we should go upstairs. What's up here? Huh. I think these are Latin translations of some of Origen's homilies. Also, it looks like it's partially burned. Prolific first-century ascetic and theologian best known for his exegetical writings and homilies. Influenced the development of the Trinity and the ransom theory of atonement. Ugh, boring. Wait a minute. I just need to draw your attention to this cat licking its butthole in the top right corner. Look at that. Some things never change. Probably not a great gift for a young girl. Wait. This is the same bookhand as the notes I found when the Baron was murdered. Whoever wrote this is responsible for writing the notes. I need to ask Illuminata about this. The burned book. A copy of Jacobus de Voren's Golden Legend. Every good Christian should know the legends of the saints. And the Latin is simple enough that she should be able to read it before long. Nah, we gotta go Parzival, right? Oh, Richard de Bury's Philobiblon. It's a text on the collection and preservation of books. That's something Anna would want to read. A 13th century English priest and later Bishop of Durham, Richard de Bury was one of the first private book collectors and is best known for the Philobiblon, which prescribed the care of his collection. That's super cool. Maybe this is where Illuminata and Cecilia learned all their tricks. Certainly a good book for a printer's daughter. Yeah, but is it fun? And then we have our, secret passage area that got us in. Albertus Magnus de Animalibus. It's ostensibly a bestiary, but it contains so much more knowledge on a variety of topics. This could inspire an interest in animals in the natural world. Beautiful illustrations as well. I mean, I might want to go for that. But Parzival, I say. No, we gotta go Parzival, right? Have you decided on any books to purchase? Yes, just one. I think it's Parzival. We gotta go Parzival. A romance, Andreas. I'm a bit surprised. I'm not. Of course you're not. Of course you're not, Jdenna. Yes, well, it's yours if you want it, of course. It's for Klaus Drucker's daughter, Magdalena. That's even less appropriate, but not my concern. I hope she enjoys it. Is there anything else you need? Yes, Mother Illuminata, what do you know about this book? I don't know anything. This is the first time I've seen it. Where did you find it? I've seen it in one of the lower shelves. I don't think it's in our catalog. It's burned around the edges. Why? How can I find out where it came from? Who wrote it? If it's not in our catalog, I'm afraid I don't know whom you could ask. If it was a recent edition, the only people who would know are Mother Cecilia and Father Matthias. Right, and I didn't bring any books for summoning. A joke, Master Mahler? Heh. Anyway, it's a shame we can't figure out who penned this book. The author is the same person who wrote the letters I found while investigating the Baron's murder. Listen, we've been told that the anchorite doesn't know how to read or write, but I don't think that can be true. I really don't. The ones in the fine bookhand? Brother Edok told me about them. Yes, the really old guy. Perhaps he knows something about this book. He's been here longer than any of us. Why would the person who wrote the letters subscribe to book in our library? Well, that's the question. Whoever did it is the thread puller. Huh? Someone who was manipulating people at Kirsau and Tossing, pulling at threads to provoke someone into killing the Baron. I thought one of the brothers killed the Baron. He did, but the Baron was lured to the chapter house by someone who knew Kirsau and Tossing's secrets. Who could this be? Well, I'm afraid we can't be of any more help to you in determining the book's provenance. However, as it's not in our catalog and it's already damaged, I doubt Father Abbot would mind if you kept it. Excellent, thank you. I'm glad someone bothered to save it from the flames. Eat with the Druckers. Back to the town we go. I'm gonna see if we can find any of the monks to, say hello to, though. The scriptorium fell into disrepair quickly after Father Journeau closed the library. That's legitimately sad. It was a beautiful place. So Matthew lives here now, I'm guessing. Since he is the prior. Let's see if there's anything interesting up here now. Nope. How about in the crypt? Father Matthias probably got exhumed and reburied there. Nope. That was the secret passage into the library, but it doesn't matter now. Just want to see if there's anybody else around here to talk to. Probably not. I mean, I think we just got to go back to the Druckers. But it's always worth a shot. Oh, hey, it's Guy. Andreas? Brother Guy, what are you doing out here? Father Journeau has asked me to inform the townsfolk that the shrine is closed. You can't close the shrine of St. Moritz. Father Abbot has ordered it, Andreas. I must follow his commands. The relic is safe inside the church, and we won't stop the pilgrims from visiting, but it is off limits to townsfolk. I mean, this is nothing more than you trying to strong-arm them. What? Why? The abbot has had enough of the peasants and townsfolk rebelling against the abbey. He is their rightful lord. The abbot has been more than generous, but he will not let this 12 articles drivel pass. The abbot refuses to leave the relic at risk of destruction. The hand of St. Moritz is the only thing keeping the abbey open. Yeah, so this is about money. The pilgrims bring donations, but the townsfolk don't. Don't be a fool, Mahler. Without the abbey, the shrine can't be kept in good condition, and it would be looted. The abbot is trying to protect the relic, nothing more. I somehow doubt that's the only thing on his mind. Will you question the abbot too, Andreas Mahler? Have you forgotten that you are a guest here in Tassing? This is ridiculous and cruel, Brother Guy, even for the abbot. I will do my duty as my vows and my lord command me, Andreas. God bless you. Jeez, dude, you're so freaking rude. Let's see if I can say hello to any of the nuns. Oh, hey. God bless you, Andreas. Welcome back to Kirsau. Thank you, Sister Gertrude. All of Tassing seems to know I'm here. Haha, you're a big man in a small town, Andreas. Word travels fast. Besides, Mausfanger tells me everything that goes on in Kirsau. Who's Mausfanger? Our convent cat, and an excellent rat catcher. She's always wandering about. You'll see her sometime, Casper. I don't like cats. They hiss and scratch. Oh, Mausfanger's harmless, if you're not pilfering the garden or cellar. She's gotten as plump as me in her later years. Until later, sister. Bless you, Andreas. Bless you, Casper. Aw, the kitty. Still there. Still gotta pet the cat. Okay, time to continue with hydration. We're doing more of this, what is this? Passion fruit LaCroix. Which is on sale and delicious. So there we go. The tea's done, the coffee's done. Can I go in here? Can I? No, I can't. Okay. Is Illuminata gonna be in there? Oh, who's this? Lisbeth. God bless you, Master Mahler. Who are you? Is working for Mother Illuminata very different from working for Mother Cecilia? My duties remain the same, regardless of who the prioress is. I don't remember you, though. You were Mother Cecilia's assistant for so long. Didn't you want to become prioress? I am happy in my position, Master Mahler. Yep, all this like Abbey politics all over again. Like how Ferenc probably should have been the abbot instead of Journeau. You weren't jealous at all? Jealousy does not befit a Benedictine. I have renounced that sin. Listen, we are only human. You may renounce the sin, but you may not renounce feelings. As long as I may serve God, I willingly serve in any position the prioress would ask. Sure. May it bring glory to God. I must return to my duties. God bless you, Master Mahler. And you, sister. Well, all right then. Something is going to happen, and I'm not looking forward to it. Okay, we're going back to the Druckers for lunch, supper, whatever you want to call it. Gotta pet the cat. Always pet the cat. These game developers knew what they were about. They knew that that's what we would always want to do. All right. Oh, hey, Father Thomas. God bless you, Andreas. Here we go. Magdalena. Bah! You're back. Good. We're almost ready to sit down to eat. Would you and Casper care to join us? Of course. Thank you, Klaus. Welcome back, Andreas. Casper. Andreas, these are my friends, Benjamin and Rachel Sommerfeld. They're on their way back to Prague. An imperial city of the Holy Roman Empire, the city's mint made it a hub for German and Italian bankers and merchants, and its university became a gathering place for many Reformation thinkers. Rachel and Benjamin, eh? I wonder if they're Jewish. Probably not. Good day. Hello. Excuse me for not getting up. It's a bit difficult. Of course, I understand. It's nice to meet you both. Hello. Hello. That sounded like a real word, Klaus. She's learning more of them every day. She'll be reading before long. That's a wonderful segue to the gift that I've brought her. Oh? A book from the Abbey Library. Is this for her or for you? Her, I swear. Parsifal, I'm sure she'll love this. It might make some good bedtime reading until she can read it on her own. Thanks for this. It's a nice thought. We should probably pray before we eat, assuming the Sommerfelds don't mind. Not at all. We're accustomed to being guests in Christian homes. I was right. Hello, fellow Jews. Hello, fellow Jews. It is nice to see you. Thank you for asking, Klaus. All right, I'll lead the prayer then. Bless us, O Lord, and these your gifts, which we are about to receive from your bounty. Through Christ our Lord. Amen. 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 Klaus, thank you again for letting us stay here. It's been such a long trip. Oh, is it time? No, I'm fine, I think. I'm just sore everywhere. Oof. Anyway, we'd hoped to get home weeks ago, but the fighting has made it slow progress from Basel. Basel? Tassing is hardly on the way to Prague. We'd rather not get caught up in battles between the Swabian League and peasants, so we've taken a strange route. The Swabian League was a military group maintained by the free imperial cities of the Holy Roman Empire. Members included nobles, knights, and hired or retained mercenaries. We were in Basel to do some business, but we didn't want to overstay our welcome. Ah, nice. Yes, unfortunately, I witnessed their intolerance for Jews when I spent my Wanderjahre there. Oh, are you familiar with the printer Johann Froben? How could I not be? He's turned Basel into the pride of Swiss printing. He has incredible artists working for him. All true, and we certainly don't mind that he publishes books in Hebrew. Yeah! Oh, especially considering, when does this take place? 1500s? About 300 years ago in France, one of the French kings burned nearly every copy of like a Jewish illuminated manuscripts and books written in Hebrew, and it was like legit a great cultural disaster for European Jews. So like, yes, let's print more of those, please. That's why we visited. Benjamin and I are creating a Hebrew type for him. That is super cool. It turns out that when your town banishes all the Jews, you have a more difficult time finding Jews to work for you. Who could have guessed? I just wish it hadn't taken us so long to get home. We have so far to go still. It's lucky timing for me, though. Now I have 2 printers and master artist at my dinner table. True, it isn't all misfortune. Daddy! Oh yes, thank you, and a future printer and baby printer to be. Tassing hasn't seen this many artists under one roof in a while. It's amazing to see how far printing has come so quickly. Some of the engravings I've seen are incredible. Yeah, I really liked the ones that Maria did earlier in the game. And new techniques, new types, new styles are being developed every year. Benjamin is trying to create a more readable script for Yiddish. We have typefaces for Hebrew, but it would be nice to have something separate for Yiddish. How novel, that could be useful. Is there much demand for that? That could be useful for printing parallel text translations of the Bible. I hadn't thought of that, though our women read Yiddish and they don't study scripture. Yet. Don't let Rabbi Hayoth hear you say that. I'd like our writing to be more accessible, especially to those who only read Yiddish. Here, something like this. I'll be sure to send you some samples when I've finished, Klaus. I just gotta say, like, this is making me kind of emotional, seeing this in a game. Like, Christian hegemony is such a big thing in the Middle Ages and in most people's popular conception of it. And this game has just done such a fantastic job of, like, setting this during the height of the Holy Roman Empire, and yet we have characters from Ethiopia, you know, like Ethiopian Christian church, that tradition of art and illumination, Jewish traditions of printing. Like, this is making me really happy. Really, really happy. Good. I'd like the... Uh-oh. Oof. Yes, I'm fine. Klaus, what are you working on? I need to get ready to sell to travelers as the pass is open, but lately I've been printing the 12 articles for the town. 12 articles. Thanks to Father Thomas, everyone in town can read at least well enough to make it through that sheet. Oh, he's been teaching people to read? Cool. Did not realize that. It's got a lot of people talking, and a lot are coming over to Otto's way of thinking. Well, you heard him yourself, Andreas. What do you think of what's happening in Tassing? I mean, the abbot's always been an ass. What do you expect? You're not wrong. Remember what happened to Ottilia's house? The abbot took it away. She lost everything. She works for Father Thomas now. I was wondering about that, because the house, it seems like he didn't do anything with it either. He just let it fall into disrepair, which is truly sad. She what? I was as surprised as you are now. We all were, but that was the only charity available to her. Sorry, not trying to bring up bad memories. I was just trying to say that things have been hard on the peasants for years. It's just gotten worse lately. If the abbey is in such a bad state, there must be someone the abbot can appeal to for more money. I will say this is the problem with mixing temporal and religious authority. It does seem that these problems are affecting lords across the empire, abbots or otherwise. Right, this is a problem with the abbot acting as lord. He can't hide behind his habit and say this is Christian behavior. It's true, separation of church and state would be nice. I know it's not going to happen here, but it wouldn't solve every problem here, but it would certainly help. Select food item to eat. White bread or apple pie. Pie, Avi. And mushroom pottage. Well, we'll eat the pottage first. Save the pie for last. I want pie now. We're sympathetic to what's happening here. We saw it all throughout Schwabia. Peasants are suffering. It's true, but I worry about what will happen in Tassing. Ow! I'm fine. Peasants are no match for the soldiers of the Swabian League. What is the Swabian League? Mercenaries, soldiers for hire. They rally for coin, not for cause. We can't speak to their motives, as we tried to stay far from them, but they were intimidating, even at a distance. If the peasants aren't careful, Tassing could draw the wrong sort of attention. I know that Otto and the peasants are taking a risk, but I believe Otto will keep things peaceful. Anyway, it's not the Swabian League we have to worry about, but the soldiers of the Duke of Bavaria. The title is held jointly by two brothers, Louis X and William IV. Both are working to suppress the peasant revolts. See, this is an area of history that I need to learn more about. I need the, reading list for Pentiment. So you liked this video game. Bavaria. The Prince Bishop has the church's authority, but the Duke's lands surround Tassing and Kirsau. Klaus, I'm sorry for what happened to your family, and I'm sorry I never wrote back. That's it. I'm sorry. Pfft. Ow. Oh, this is it. This is it. Oh no, I was afraid of this. We can't travel now. This is all my fault. We should have left Basel earlier. I love you, Benjamin, but be quiet. I don't care. I need help. Yes, we need a midwife. Is there one who would accept Rachel? Agnes Steinauren. She's Tassing's midwife. Could you get her? Klaus? Yes, I should get her. Agnes has delivered every child in Tassing as long as I can remember. She would never turn any woman away. Thank you, Klaus, you're a mensch. Enough with the thanks, get me the midwife. Yes. Andreas, you're forgiven. Casper, it was good to have you over, but you both have to leave. Of course. Thank you, Klaus. Good luck, Rachel. Thank you. I'll need it. I'll go fetch Agnes. Thank you for joining us, Andreas. Oh, I almost forgot. You should go see the bonfire preparations in the town commons. You missed them on your last visit. Klaus! I'm going! Thank you, Klaus. We'll be going. Andreas' bugged out eyes always cracks me up, too. Take care. Off we go to the bonfire area. Oh, cool. Everyone seems to be working hard for the bonfire tonight. The commons look festive, decorated like this. Sure they do. Look at all the flowers, Master, and the bonfire is huge. How's the fire coming? Those logs work out all right for you, Endris? You'll be finished with it. It's all in place, Otto. Good, good. All right, everyone. Remember, after the bonfire tonight, we celebrate as usual. We will all gather in the woods, and the women will collect herbs as tradition demands. Otto, the abbot has forbidden harvesting in the forest. Please, for everyone's sake, reconsider your actions. Thank you, Father, but the abbot's order goes against God's law. The forest belongs to all of us, as do all its game and fowl and fish. He cannot claim ownership over that which the Lord gave us to hold in common. No, I'm sorry, Father. We'll proceed as planned. Tassing has never let anything get in the way of our St. John's customs as long as I can remember. We won't start now. And remember, tomorrow I will show you proof that as sure as the sun turns round the earth, God and our saints are with us. What is this proof going to be? Is this related to the weird ghostly apparition thing that we saw at the Roman ruins all that time ago? I just don't know. I just don't understand. Ay. Okay. Good day, Andreas. Hello, Brother Václav. You looked upset at Otto's announcement. Is everything all right? Otto is becoming more aggressive in his defiance of the abbot. Father Journeau will not take this news well. How could the abbot stop them? He can't exactly chase them all out of the woods himself. Father Abbot knows force is not the only way to get people to behave. How do you think he came to his position? Fair point. But why is the abbot so angry about it? Didn't you just hear Father Thomas, Andreas? The abbot declared the woods off limits. I mean... Anyway, it's not for me to say. I'm sure the abbot will tell you more. He sent me with an invitation for you to dine with him tonight. I am sure the father will want to discuss the situation over supper. You're kidding. What does the abbot think he can pry out of me now? I'd watch your tone around the abbot, Andreas. Will you go or not? Fine, I'll attend. Does the invitation extend to Casper as well? I'm sorry, Andreas, but Father Abbot has asked you to come to his house alone. Oh boy. Sure there's nothing wrong with that. Phew. Please tell the abbot I'll see him this evening. Wait, what was Sister Matilda doing out in the town? Well, I guess I'll see what all the fuss is about. I'll meet you back at the Golden Hand after dinner, all right? Can I help set up the festival decorations while you're with the abbot? Yes, but be back before sundown, all right? Yes, thank you, Master. I'll see you later. All right. Up to the Abbey I go. I do want to see everybody, though. Master Andreas, you best not keep the abbot waiting. Go on, we'll meet up after supper. All right, don't get into trouble. Not too much trouble, anyway. Werner. I love this dance. The guys that have buckets on their heads. Till the shepherd, I remember you. Brigitte. Hello, Andreas. This just looks like a lot of fun. This bonfire is much simpler than the one in Nuremberg, but it's pretty all the same. I love this. This is great. The Zimmerman house. Have I been in here before? I don't think so. Well, it doesn't matter. I gotta go up to the Abbey anyway. I want to make sure there's nothing weird going on in here. I have a bad feeling about this. About this church in particular. There was that labyrinth that was in the book that I got from Sister Illuminata, the Mysticism book I wasn't supposed to be reading. Pet the cat. Always gotta pet the cat. I'm not talking to you, Brother Guy. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. We're not doing that. God bless you, Master Mahler. Lucas. I never really got to know him that well. God bless you, Brother Lucas. How have you been? Still working in the kitchen? Yes, I'm still assisting Brother Waslav. I've been making more complex dinners recently for Father Journeau. Oh, really? We got a little corruption going on, I see. The rest of the brothers eat simpler fare, but the abbot has the privilege of foods from around the world. I want to hear about what you've been cooking. Well, Brother Waslav has shown me how to roast quail and baste it with butter to keep it soft. Oh, that sounds so good. And I help Sister Gertrude when she goes to the forest sometimes. She's been teaching me about herbs. And what are you doing now? Oh, Brother Waslav sent me to collect something for him, but I can't remember what it was. Something from the cellar, perhaps? Probably. There's so much in there, though. Maybe if I bring back a few onions, he'll be happy. We always need more onions. I'll leave you to it then. I guess, yeah, kitchen and cellar. Edoc. Is that you again, Andreas? Yes, brother. I have a book I wanted to ask you about. Oh, I'm afraid I may not be of much help. I can barely read anymore. I mean, he can also, barely see. I can describe it to you. It's a book of Origen's homilies written in a fine bookhand. And it is singed around the edges. Yes, you know it. Do you know where it came from? Who wrote it? Andreas, forget this book. What? Why? It came from a place of fire in a terrible darkness. What does that mean? This cover, these leaves, they bear the marks of a great evil that was done. A soul can also bear such marks, carry them for a lifetime. Whose soul? The person who wrote the book? Yeah, we need to know. Come on. There is a presence that watches over this place, Andreas. A presence that wishes for things to remain as they are. Sister Margareta told me that before the Baron was murdered, she smelled the devil's presence at Kirsau. Is that what you mean? I cannot say any more, Andreas. I'm sorry. What? Really? You can't tell me any more? I dare not. For your own good. God protect you. Oh, Jesus, what's going on? You as well, brother. My God. Matthew. Hi, I remember you. Volkbert. Oh, Master Andreas, you've come back. Yes, it's been a long time, but I wanted to pay my respects to Brother Piero. I'm sorry, I miss him too. I'm sorry, Master Andreas, I have to get back to my work. Ugh, is something the matter, brother? I mean, something the matter is that, like, I took advantage of him 7 years ago and got him in big trouble. I don't want to get in trouble again, like last time. Is it because of the grave thing? Yeah. Yes, I got in trouble. Father Abbot yelled at me. He said I wouldn't be ready to take my vows for years. That's why I'm still a novice, even though Brother Lucas is already a monk. Prior Matthew watches me all the time. He doesn't trust me. So, I mean no insult, Master Andreas, but I don't want to get in trouble again. All right, I'll leave you to your work. I'm sorry, Master Mahler. That's so sad. I definitely got him in trouble. Oh, right, we know the lectern. Rudiger. Andreas! Oh, it's wonderful to see you again. How have things been for you in Nuremberg? I've actually been in Paris recently. I'm not looking forward to going back to Nuremberg. Ah, well, it's good to see you in any case. Forgive me for asking, but how did you find the music in Paris? This is the guy who, like, sings so beautifully that I just stop whenever I walk through the room because he's great. He's also Prior Matthew's boyfriend. Beautiful. Motets and chansons were quite popular. I think you'd like it. I believe I would, thank you. Perhaps if God blesses us, we may see some of these compositions before long. I love our music, of course, but I am interested in what is being created across Christendom. I suppose you came to pay your respects to Brother Piero. I'm so sorry, Andreas. He was a wonderful man and a faithful servant of Christ. He was my friend and teacher. Well, despite the occasion, it is good to see you again. God bless you, Andreas. Florian. Andreas Mahler, how wonderful to see you. Have you been well? Not lately. I am sorry to hear it. I hope your visit to Kirsau can bring some relief. What brings you back here? I wanted to pay my respects to Brother Piero. Ah, of course. I'm sorry, Andreas. I know it's a small consolation, but he lived a long life with little pain. He died quite suddenly during Lauds. Wait. He was well loved by everyone here, even those who might pretend otherwise. I'm sure he appreciates the gesture. As for your visit, I cannot speak with the abbot's authority, but you are always welcome company. Aw, it's nice to know that not all of the monks are suck-ups the way that Guy is. Thank you. How have you been keeping yourself busy these last few years? I've been reading every Italian medical text Klaus Drucker can get his hands on. Really? How many is that? Oh, I haven't counted, but many. Leoniceno's text on the French disease, which might have been helpful for the Baron all those years ago. The Fasciculus Medicinae, a new printing from Venice. Fasciculus Medicinae, wonderful woodcuts. Oh, the Flowers of Medicine from Salerno. Did you know they've translated it into Hebrew? Occitan? Imagine that. Imagine a peasant in the fields of Provence reading the medical wisdom of Salerno. Aha! Printing is taking over his life now. Love it. Imagine a Polish mercenary doing it. Ha, I don't need to imagine it. What a wonder these books are. I got carried away. Haha. Anyway, it's good to see you, Andreas. Until later. Until then. Alrighty. Well, I suppose... Where is the abbot? Surely he's not in the kitchen. Maybe he's in his house? Uh-huh. I want to go down into the cellar, because we couldn't go down in there when Brother Piero was... Oh, what's going on? A cat! Catching a mouse! Aww. This is so ominous. Feed cat. Aww. I was really worried I was about to find like a corpse or something, because that turned into a cutscene. Well, that's fine. The cat doesn't need my food, but I don't mind. Oh, wait a minute. Is the way to the abbot's house is connected to the large garden. Oops. I swear I know where I'm going. The dog. Always gotta pet the dog. I want to get treats to feed to the dog. Aha, here we are. God bless you, Andreas. I'm glad to see you received my invitation. Are you ready to eat? Yes. Good. Andreas, thank you for coming to dinner. I will admit I was surprised to receive your invitation, Father, but I'm pleased to come. Yes, well, when I heard you had returned to Tassing, the Lord convinced my heart to let bygones be bygones. Huh. I think it's high time we reconciled, Master Mahler. Please sit, and we will pray together. What do you want from me? Why are you reconciling with me now? You must want something. Bless us, O Lord, and these your gifts, which we are about to receive from your bounty. Lord, direct each of us here toward your wisdom, prudence, and guidance in our further actions. Through Christ our Lord, amen. Amen. So much food. Brother Waslav was indeed prompt in delivering my message. I'm surprised you deigned drop by at all. You have done quite well for yourself, after all. It is good to see that your time at Kirsau was not squandered. You even look the part of the famous artist now. What have you been doing in recent years after leaving such a mess in Tassing? Hopefully not investigating more murders poorly. I spent much of my time painting commissions in France and learning from the other artists there. Yes, busy selling out to the aristocracy, I see. Ugh, excuse you. Better than selling out to the church, Father. Ooh, sick burn. Why have you asked me here anyway? In truth, I had hoped to discuss the rising tensions between the abbey and townspeople. I'd like to clarify the situation for you, Andreas. Oh, really? Of course, just like you clarified that Piero was guilty all those years ago. This is precisely why I asked you here. I am trying to prevent another terrible situation like that. I believe you've only heard from one side of the issue, Andreas. Otto's little speeches about taxes don't account for the entire situation. Then please explain. I'm all ears. Why demand such high taxes then, Father? Plum pudding, pheasant, Lebkuchen. Wow. With the scriptorium closure, the taxes are necessary to make up for the lost income. Surely there's another option. Do you really need to raise taxes that much? Brother Guy has gone over the Abbey's expenses carefully, Andreas. Raising taxes is the best way to cover these costs. But what about prohibiting the peasants from using the forest? That's a new restriction. The forest belongs to the Abbey, and the peasants have no right to use it. Legally, it's theft. Surely the Lord calls for a spirit of graciousness and charity, Father. Neither is a spirit of theft Christian, Andreas. Otto has been reading from the 12 Articles. As I hear it, the document appeals to the sovereignty God gave all mankind over the earth. The 12 Articles, that drivel is Lutheran propaganda and defies the Church's authority to regulate the sinful and greedy nature of mankind. Wow, you really rehearsed that comeback, didn't you? Speaking of, it's my Lutheran propaganda hat. A shameful document for Klaus to print. Look at its effects on the townsfolk. I hear they will continue their disobedience by collecting herbs on St. John's Eve. The whole town knows I've forbidden it. The matter is grave, and I will excommunicate anyone who defiles my order. Are you allowed to do that? At this point in time, I'm not sure if an abbot is allowed to excommunicate people. I'm assuming yes. I don't believe that's the case now. Yeah, Father Abbot, you don't have the authority to do it. The townsfolk live under the ecclesiastical jurisdiction of the Prince Bishop of Freising, not you. Andreas, you are hardly an expert on canon law. I assure you, I will have the support of the Prince Bishop. Yeah, everyone's saying I'm not an expert on canon law when they just want to excuse their own bad actions. Remaining impartial would be impossible as long as you're in town. Support me in ending this foolish rebellion. Absolutely not. You have a reputation in town, Andreas. You're a successful man, and the townsfolk believe they are like you. I'd like you to convince the other townsfolk, the printer, for example, that this uprising is not in their best interests. The rest of the town will follow, and the peasants will have no chance to resist. We can end this peacefully. The peasants have genuine grievances. Why not talk with them and negotiate? I am a forgiving man, but Otto's stubbornness has challenged even me. Otto is past the point of talking, Andreas. That's why I'm begging you for help in the matter. Please, take more time to think about it. I apologize. We must conclude for now. I must excuse myself. I am expected to lead a service at Compline tonight. Think on what we've discussed, Andreas. I trust you can find your way out. I will, Father Abbot. Good night. Okay. Return to the commons. It is time to go. Gotta pet the pup. Good boy. Mirabilis. Still guarding the shrine, I see. Pet the kitty. It's truly impossible not to. Okay. Oh, hey, it's the old lady, Ottilia. Well, well. Andreas the painter. Good to see you too, Ottilia. When did I say it was good to see you? The only reason I remember you is because you bothered me about that Rat the Baron, excuse me. Anyway, no time to talk now, fancy man. It's time to call to the fire. Call? Audans, mama perchta. Blank us, mother perchta. Nus arden quest gorad porti. We burn for you? Ve, nus clamenti. Ha 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 ha. Did I hear perchta in there? So what if you did? Did you become a hound of the Lord during your time away? Come to Tassing to sniff out the heathens and heretics? Never mind, forget I said anything. Ha ha ha! Enjoy the evening, Andreas. But if you want my advice, stay out of the woods tonight. Ah ha 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 ha! She's acting all witchy and creepy, and it's great. I like it. Master Andreas, look how big the bonfire is. The decorations are so fancy. The St. John's Eve Festival is a big event for Tassing. I missed it last time I was here. Haven't you ever been to a festival like this, Casper? No, I've never seen anything like this. Can I stay at the bonfire and see the costumes and watch them collect herbs, Master Mahler, please? No, Casper. It's late, and I don't want to risk the abbot's anger. Let's just head back and go to sleep. Oh, all right, fine. Go to bed. I don't want to... Werner. Andreas? Who's this? Salutations. You must be that illustrious artist. Balthasar Eisenkopf. Pleased to meet you, but call me Balthas, please. It's much more familiar. Master Andreas Mahler, pleased to meet you. Yes, you're Mahler, we all know. Let's cut the long-winded pleasantries. What brings you to Tassing, Balthas? Balthasar has decided to stay in this godforsaken town for whatever unfathomable reason after his cart broke. It is not unfathomable. I enjoy the calming vistas, the peace and quiet. Well, you picked the wrong place if you were really looking for peace and quiet. It has been neither lately. You mean with what Otto and the peasants have been saying? Of course that's what I mean. What else would I be talking about? You've gotten slow in your old age, Mahler. Huh, I'm going to ignore him. And what is it that you do, Balthas? He is an inventor, of sorts. I make all manner of mechanical contraptions. For all the use it is. The mind of the inventor exists to create, to build, to go one step further. One step further towards the garbage heap. Haha. It makes sense you'd also be rude to your friends, Werner. What's that supposed to mean? Haha, yes. Perhaps you will find a friend yourself someday, Master Mahler. Andreas, have you had the chance to look around town tonight? I imagine the sights could be inspiring to your artistic mind. Tassing certainly looks cheerful with the decorations and bonfire. Indeed, look at their peasant ingenuity. Consider the bonfire itself. It is built to allow the air and the heat to flow through it at great speed, and how it roars. Yes, and? Exactly. Gaze upon their skill at stacking logs upon logs, almost worthy of a university degree. These people have natural traditions. They've managed to figure out many clever things without even the most cursory education. It is knowledge that hails from preceding generations, lived experience passing along the chain of time. Not quite the knowledge of a rigorously educated mind, perhaps, but nonetheless useful. You don't need a university education to be smart. Of course you would say that. Neither of you know these people like I do. God has assigned them their place in the order of the world for good reason. Jeez, can we just get over that, please? There is some merit in learning from the peasants, even you, Werner, given their understanding of herbal remedies. Their traditions are profane. Consider the Eve of St. John, tainted by their pagan rituals. It is an affront to Christ. Saint Eligius warned against precisely this nearly 1,000 years ago. Patron saint of goldsmiths, Bishop of Noyon-Tournai. Worked tirelessly to convert the pagans of Flanders to Christianity. All right. Where'd this newfound piety come from? Don't pretend to know anything about me. I've been on the pilgrimage to Aachen. I have visited the Marian shrine and stood in the presence of those holy relics. Yep. An ornate golden reliquary in Aachen Cathedral. It holds the swaddling clothes and loincloth of Jesus, the Virgin Mary's dress, and the decapitation cloth of John the Baptist. Oh my. Hey kids, we're going on a trip to go see the decapitation cloth of St. John. To be in the presence of St. John the Baptist beheading cloth was an experience I will never forget. It's truly the happiest place on earth. I'm glad you had an experience. Your family must be proud. They are. Grand, now I think it's time we return to the festival. We're here to celebrate. I'll let you continue with your evening then. Good night. A very good night. Oh, and do come by my workshop, Master Mahler. I would love to exchange ideas. It would be my pleasure. Splendid. Until then. Mahler. Alrighty. Good evening, Andreas. Nice to see you here. Grandpa, look who it is. Eh? Oh, the artist. You're still around? I thought to stay and enjoy the festivities. Pah, you call this a festival? You haven't seen nothing yet. You're not going to tell the story again, are you? You kids need to learn it by heart, else Perchta will run you down. Ah, is this about the wild hunt? Yes, it draws near. Ugh. Heed my warning. Grandpa, you're getting agitated again. It's not good for your health. Nonsense! I can outlive any bastard out there. So, where was I? The wild hunt? Yes. Did you bring your mask? I didn't realize I was supposed to bring one. Pah! The fools I have to suffer. The masks are to protect us as we banish the witches and spirits into Perchta's path. She punishes all humans she finds in the woods on St. John's Eve, since only witches are out in the wilderness. Anyone caught will be turned into animals. No one but a priest can then turn you back. Oh, brother. Oh, well, I guess I can imagine a worse punishment. You joke, artist, but you won't be laughing when Perchta finds you. Stay indoors tonight. If you want to come outside, stay within the light of St. John's fire. At least St. Satya blesses the herbs in the forest this night. And the women will gather the herbs, regardless of that bastard abbot. It's certainly important to stockpile some for the winter. Thank you for teaching me more about local traditions. I'll go with that. Eh? Hey, Big Jorg. You grab some of those ashes with you after the bonfire has died down. Fine. What are the ashes for? Eh? It's to spread across the garden. Ensures a good harvest. Figures you city people don't know shit. Don't be like that, Grandpa. Now that story time is over, how are you enjoying the evening so far, Andreas? I've spoken to a few other people here. Very enlightening. It's the best time to spend time with your friends. Have you heard anything interesting? Pah, gossip! You two are like that burner in the forest. Smokey, that's the one. Always nosy about other people. Yes, it has been fun to hear what people think about St. John's Eve. Maybe you'll get a few dances as well, eh, Andreas? Given how many gorgeous women live in this town, I can't miss out on the chance. I mean, we gotta try, right? Shoot your shot. And you're the kind who dance with all of them, Andreas. As long as you don't get caught by the husbands, they won't take kindly to that. Haha. Well, I shouldn't keep you from the night's celebration until later. Humph. Hello, Master Mahler. Evening, Till. Enjoying the festival? Very much so. I perhaps feel a tad old for the more active side of the celebrations, but I enjoy the sights and sounds. Did you know the word for the summer solstice leads back to the Romans? Solstitium, the sun stands still. Such as it looks at this time of year, the sun rises higher for a long time and then it stays there before falling again. A fitting allegory for the great cosmic arc of mankind. Rise and fall. But to make up for that, dancing, leaping, songs, joy and mirth. The Romans also had sacred celebrations for both Juno and Vesta around this time, to gain blessings for marriage and family. Sometimes it seems as if the festivals are made up to cover for what the young folk get up to. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of nice to make sure that you have a fertility festival to ensure your village doesn't have a population collapse. It's going to be more hydration time when we get to the end of this little scene here. We know there's no stopping them, not really. Sure couldn't stop me at that age. Young hearts are both fickle and resolute. And don't they just always enjoy the sense of danger? I can't blame them. Such excitement gets the blood boiling. It makes you feel alive. I've had my share, thank you. I'd rather read about it these days. Well, with the Abbey selling books from their library. I hoped I could get some for myself, but it proved to be far too expensive. Klaus and his printings have proven to be of more use and a fair bit cheaper. Does this mean you've read the 12 articles? I have. But that is not a talk to be had on this eve of celebration, Master Mahler. I see your point. Well, have you maybe come across any interesting tales? I have indeed, Master Mahler. Or, I didn't quite understand everything. The text was in Latin. It was by a Roman named Strabo, and it was about geography. That's why I noticed it. Ah, the noted philosopher and historian. He was actually Greek by birth. I imagine you were reading his Geographica. Yes, that could have been it. The book was about many kinds of barbarians, which also included the Rhaetii tribe I read about years ago. Yeah, I remember that. The people who used to live on this very land before the Romans arrived. He called this place Ratium and described it as a cluster of drab huts, and its people hostile and warlike, only interested in hunting and fighting. There was something about Manus and his sons, but I couldn't understand a lot of it. In any case, when the Romans came, most of these locals were driven out, but some were captured to work in the fields and the mines. What happened to the locals who were forced out? We gotta find that out. No idea. I would imagine that after the Romans were driven off, when their empires started falling apart, maybe the barbarians came back. But were they really the same people, or nomads from elsewhere? I guess we may never know. Thank you for the quick history. I'll let you get back to the festivities. Enjoy yourself tonight, Master Mahler. Until later. Why, Martin, look who it is. Good evening, Andreas. Andreas, you're staying for the festival, I hope. Of course he's staying. Who would miss this? Especially after you burly boys built such a beautiful bonfire. A burly boy like me would do anything for you, Dove. Couldn't help myself. Aww. Brigitte, Martin, you're both feeling very festive, I see. The food, the fires, the dancing, it really is a night to enjoy. It's to honor the anniversary of the birth of Blessed John, a vigil for he who prepared the way. Yes, and he'd have liked everyone to have a good mood in their hearts, and good food in their bellies. As a hermit who wandered in the desert, living off locusts and wild honey, he probably wouldn't agree. I'd like to live off some wild honey myself, if you catch my meaning. Oh boy, Horn Dog Martin strikes again. Who wouldn't? Now I can't stop thinking about it. Andreas! Ha, you're an ordinary man after all. Blush, I got carried away, don't mind me. Are you two, going to heed Otto's call and go into the forest? No, I'm really not looking for trouble. There's enough of that going around. Even though you supported him earlier during his speech? He speaks his mind on what's important, but like I've said, I've no personal interest to provoke the abbot. We are God-fearing people, Andreas. What did you argue about with Otto anyway when I first saw you in the meadow? Oh, nothing of note. Andreas, please, enough of this talk. We're here to celebrate. And Martin and I will dance until our legs begin to waver, isn't that right? Would not miss it for the world. That's delightful. I hope you have a great evening. You as well, Andreas. Until later. Okay. Oh, nope, didn't want to do that. I just wanted to look closer at the bonfire. Carl. Oh, it's little Anna. She still has my hat. Evening, Andreas. I don't remember him. Say, how do you like the bonfire? We built it nice this year, big and sturdy. It's a fine setup, Carl. Excellent work. I know we can't compare to where you come from, but we still give it our all in celebration of the light who prepared the way for our Lord. Anton, you remember Andreas Mahler, the master artist? Yeah, I've seen him around town. Son, be polite. Ugh, hello, Master Mahler, how are you? Huh, fine, I guess. It hasn't been great time back at Nuremberg. I see. Anton's a good boy, let me tell you. A bit of a rascal, as you can see, but he's got a good head and a good heart. Likes to hide it, though. Ugh, Dad, will you stop? Ha ha ha. Easy to rile you up, just like your mother. How is Helena? Is she not attending the bonfire? She'll join us later. She went with Martha to dip their toes into the stream and to pick some flowers for the garlands and wreaths. It's important to hold to traditions. You're right, especially with the times we're having. Besides, maybe Martha and Helena will come across the blossoms of a fern out there. Ha ha. What's so funny about that? Ferns don't flower. That means no power to speak with animals for you, boy. Don't worry, Anton. You can always get a garland with St. John's wort to ward off any demons and evil spirits. Yeah, got that, Anton? Make sure to keep your eyes open for those spirits walking the earth tonight. Evil spirits and demons? I've never seen any myself. And you won't have to, if we're careful, my boy. The bonfire will frighten them off with the help of the Lord. With the power of the Lord and the power of fire. It's why we have the feasts and celebrations. Speaking of, what do you think of the festival so far, Anton? It's fine, I guess. I like the fires when they are lit. The mountains get to twinkle, like the stars. I don't like when people get drunk and rowdy as the night goes on. They get into fights and all. So, everyone likes to let loose sometimes. It's good for the body. I don't know about that, Master Mahler. All I see is blood and bruises. Uh-oh. Someone is gonna get murdered tonight, I think. But your dad keeps the trouble away, yes? Yeah, he doesn't like it when those goddamn bastards go too far. Language, boy. God doesn't look kindly on blaspheming. But those are your words, Dad. Best you don't quote me. Quote the scripture instead. It's better for your soul. You listen to your father, Anton. I will, I do. Jesus. Hey, what did I just say? Don't let your mother catch you with that mouth. Haha. Well, I'll let you get back to the festivities now. It was a pleasure. Until later, Andreas. Bye. Okay, well, I'm gonna go to the forest, which is where I'm not supposed to go. I think. I'm gonna try anyway. Dun da da da. Oh, I guess maybe no one is here. Well, that's unfortunate. I thought I would be able to, like, break my own rule and stay out late at the waterfall, but I guess not. That's too bad. Wonder if anything's changed at the shrine. Nope. What about at Smokey's house? Here he is. Hey, buddy. Evening, Master Mahler. You're not taking part in the festivities? I came to ask you the same. I didn't see you at the bonfire. I imagine it'd be a great chance to gather gossip. Ha! Plenty of gossip to go around if one keeps their eyes open in the forest tonight. It's an enchanted evening. As for your question, I get enough fire and smoke as it is. Haha. And decent folk don't like to associate with my kind. Even as they like the charcoal, they hate the burner. Other than Endris, he occasionally comes by, but I guess he has to keep good relations. For his trade. People avoid you even on a night such as this? Well, fine. They're not as bad as usually, but truth be told, I don't really care. I've made my peace with the matter. For me, it's a night like most others. I prefer staying sober and observing the townsfolk. Easier to get all the gossip for the year to come, you know? Besides, I reckon I'm growing too old for mischief. Best let others run around in their silly costumes. I think you still have some youth in you. Huh. Like the sun rises to its highest point every year, so my back grows ever more crooked. But I appreciate you coming by. I wish you a pleasant evening, Master Mahler. Until later. Until then. Alright, well, I guess we go back to the town. Or rather, to the Golden Hand Inn. Alright, we're gonna go to sleep, see what happens. Then I'm gonna take another break to make some tea. Yay, we go to the dream world now. Awesome. I love it when this happens. Oh, interesting. It's the cross from the labyrinth. Why is this showing up in my dreams? Oh, it's my wife. What is it? What? Come home. Stop bothering me. Is that all I am to you now? A bother? A hen-pecking harpy? A nuisance to be ignored while you lead another life in Paris? Was there ever an ounce of love in your heart for me? This was never about love, Sabine. Not at first, no. But I suppose it was too much to hope that a seed of tenderness could grow between us. I'm not going to say anything. Fine. Go back to your whores, the women who make you happy. This house is so lonely without him. Stop. Your presence would only amplify the grief. Stop. Leave me alone. Leave me alone with the memory of him. Stop. Just leave me alone, just for one night. One night where I don't have to dream about him. It's gotta be their son, right? Please. Thank you. Away we go. Oh no. It's gonna be my son, isn't it? Hello, August. What am I supposed to do? Just wait here with you? I suppose I can do that. Just pass the night in silence with you. I'm sorry I couldn't do anything for you. I'm so tired, August. Oh, he got the plague and died. Do you get tired where you are? The last time I saw you, I said goodnight to you. I couldn't come to the bed, so I stood in the doorway. I just stood in the dark. You didn't say anything back, so I said it again. I don't know how long I stood there, just waiting for you to say goodnight. You still look the same age to me. I wonder if I'll ever forget your face. Do I remember your mother as she is? I remember loving her. Can you ever picture someone clearly if you love them? I loved you, little boy. I loved you so much. Sometimes I wish I could die so I wouldn't feel it anymore. But I can't. So I retrace my steps every night, and I find my way back to her. Back to you. I love you, August. Good night. Oh my god, this is so sad. Andreas, your life is a mess right now of just grief. What happened to this place? Oh boy. Where is Prester John? And where is Socrates and St. Grobian? Grobian wasn't on the ship of fools. Melancholia. Oh god. Oh, this game's getting sad. Alright, because I know this is going to turn into a longer conversation, I'm going to take a quick break, get some more tea, some more hydration, and then we'll get more into this when I get back. So, give me just a few minutes, and I will be back shortly.